Can you see the screen? Slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, now we will start the class. Today we will be discussing about the sprayers, the demonstration on sprayers. I think you all are familiar with sprayer because it is one of the most important equipment used in agriculture or used by farmer frequent. Normally, these sprayers are used in application of pesticides or any other chemicals. For example, the pesticides, weedicides, insecticides, and also in some case, these sprayers are used to apply micronutrients or any other hormones to plants to promote the plant growth. And the main function of sprayers are to break down the chemical solution. We can't apply the micronutrients or any other pesticide in a large quantity. So it need to be added or applied in a small quantity. So these sprayers facilitates in breakdown of chemicals or any other solution to fine droplets of effective size. And also these sprayers facilitate in distributing these droplets uniformly over a plants or over the surface. So the efficiency of application or else the efficiency of the chemical application or the hormone application will be effective while we are using the sprayers. And also these sprayers are helpful in applying the chemicals with sufficient pressure. Say for example, in case of insecticides, we are applying insufficient pressure to vanish the insect out from the plants. And also it facilitates in regulating the amount of liquid applied on plant. We also can control the amount of liquid applied by using the sprayers. And these sprayers should be designed with some desirable qualities. Say for example, the weight. The weight of the sprayer should be light because it need to be carried by a farmer in a working place. So the weight should be sufficient enough to carry by the farmers. And also the delivery of the liquid must be with a sufficient pressure. If we apply the liquid by pressure only, the effectiveness of the spraying will be good. And also the sprayer should produce a stream of steady flow. That means there must not be any blockage or blocking. It need to be flows in a stream and also with desired drop size. And the most important part in the sprayers are nozzle. The nozzle normally utilized or held the function of atomization of liquids. Atomization means the breaking of liquids into small droplets, like a mist, like that. That wise, the nozzles are utilized in breaking down of the liquid, and also the nozzle determines the amount, or it controls the amount of spray, and also it controls the area of coverage by the sprayer, and also it must be designed in order to reduce the loss. For example, did you heard the term before, the spray drift? Spray drift. Hello? Okay. The spray drift is the airborne losses of chemicals or the liquid sprayed. That means we are spraying in a particular area, but the other liquid particles or other droplets are lost by air, or by the movement of air without applied to that particular space. Those losses are called the spray drift. Okay, and this nozzle must be designed in order to reduce the spray drift and to cover the optimized area, and also it should be applied with optimized pressure. And normally these nozzles are made by using brass, and in some other circumstance we are using stainless steel or engineered plastic to make nozzles. And according to the purpose, we can classify the nozzle into 4 main categories. Those are the solid cone type, hollow cone types, and flat fan types and flat types. Normally, the flat fan type nozzles are used in applying the weedicide. Say, for example, in a farmer's field before cultivation, the field is full of weed. To eradicate or to eliminate those weeds, we want to apply weedicide. In that circumstance, we are using the flat fan type nozzles, because these nozzles are highly uniform, and also I think you can see here this one, the flat fan type nozzle. The application is highly uniform and it can cover a vast area. So in those circumstances, we are using the flat fan type nozzle. And the other type nozzle is hollow cone type nozzle. In this case, we are utilizing to apply insecticide or any other fungicide. This one facilitates the uniform distribution of chemicals. And the other type is flat type nozzle. This one normally utilized in large application, because in flat type nozzles, the application rate as well as the speed are high compared to other type. So these flat type nozzles are utilized in large scale agriculture industries. Did you take a note of this? Because the notes are not available. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please take a note on this. Normally, the nozzles need to be selected based on the application and also based on the coverage area, and it want to minimize the spray drift. Normally, the spray drift is the airborne loss of chemical during spraying. And based on the purpose, the nozzles are classified into 4 main types. Those are the solid cone type, hollow cone types, flat fan types, and flat types. In case of flat types, we are using in large scale because the application rate and speed are higher, and the it contains the high uniformity as well. And in case of flat fan type, we are utilizing in weedicide application for bare land or in agriculture land before planting to eradicate the weeds. And in case of hollow contacts, we are utilizing to apply insecticides and fungicide. It facilitates the uniform distribution. And the nozzles are usually made by using brass, the tip of the nozzles. But in other cases, we can utilize stainless steel and engineered plastic as well. Shall we move then?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, these are the pictures of the types of nozzles. Please draw these also. Okay, now let's see about the classification of sprayers. The sprayers can be classified based on the power sources, carrying pattern, volume of handling, and pressurized mechanism. The first one is based on power sources. Based on power sources, the spray can be classified as manually operated or hand operated sprayers, and other one is the power operated sprayers, and the third one is airplanes. In hand operated sprayers, it can be utilized for small holdings. Say for example, in case of home gardens, we can utilize the hand operated sprayers. And the other one is power operated sprayers. This can be utilized for treating relatively large areas. And in case of airplanes, these are used for very large scale works. And based on the carrying patterns, the sprayers can be broadly classified into knapsack sprayers, shoulder sprayers, and field sprayers. In knapsack sprayers, there are four more categories. Those are the continuous spraying, continuous semi-automatic spraying, compression spraying, and the power spraying. The knapsack sprayers are carried on our back. Normally, you would have seen the farmers are carrying the sprayers on their backside. And in case of shoulder sprayers, these are carried in the shoulder. And in case of field sprayers, these are utilized any tractors or any agriculture machineries for their spraying. These types of sprayers are mounted in tractors. These are the knapsack sprayers and their categories. The first one is the continuous type sprayer, and the second one is continuous semi-automatic. The third one is compression type, and the fourth one is power sprayer. And this one is the shoulder sprayer, which is carried on the shoulder of the operators. And these are the field sprayers. The first one is mounted type field sprayers, and the second one is trailer type field sprayers. In case of trailer type field sprayers, these are mounted in the linking point in tractor. Say for example, the PTO shaft or 3-point linkage. Those are the linking point in tractors. These sprayers or the trailers are mounted in tractors by utilizing the linking points. And in case of mounted type field sprayers, they are permanently mounted in any machineries. Please make a note on this. Right. The next classification is based on pressurized mechanism. There are several equipments or mechanisms are utilized to create pressure. The first one is piston, the second one is diaphragm, and the third one is plunger. I think you all have already familiar with piston, how it creates pressure. Normally, the piston is reciprocating in the cylinder case. By that, the volume of that particular piston, the volume in the particular piston cylinder is getting changed, whether it is getting increasing or decreasing. By that, by the volume difference, the pressure is created. In case of diaphragm, also same like piston. In here, it have the diaphragm. The diaphragm can expand as well as compress. Based on this difference, the pressure is generated. So the pressurized mechanism is getting generated. And in case of plunger, this one is also the same principle of piston. By reciprocating movement of the plungers, the pressure is created. Take a note on this. And the other classification is based on volume of handling. Based on volume, the sprayers can be classified as high volume sprayers, medium volume, low volume, very low volume, and ultra low volume. For ultra low volume, the capacity is around 2 liters, and very low volume, the capacity is 2 to 50 liters, and low volume, 50 to 200 liters, and medium volume, 600 to 200 liters, and for high volume, it is more than 600 liters. Take a note on this. These are the images of sprayers based on volume. The first one is ultra low volume. The second one is low volume. And the third one is high volume sprayers. And the fourth one is medium volume sprayers. And I want to say something regarding this. Okay. In case of knapsack sprayers, we categorized into 4 subcategories now. The first one is the continuous type, and the second one is continuous semi-automatic, third one is compression, and fourth one is power sprayers. In case of continuous sprayers, now I will continue after seeing the pictures of knapsack sprayers. Okay. Have you drawn this? Hello? Have
Yes,
you
ma'am.
drawn this? Now let's see in detail about knapsack sprayers. Okay. In case of knapsack sprayers, there are 2 categories. One is manually operated or hand operated sprayers, and the other one is power operated sprayers. In case of manual operated sprayers, the power is by human, or the power is manually applied. The carrying position is knapsack, or it can be in continuous semi-automatic sprayers, and the volume is low, and pressurized mechanism is by facilitated by piston. And in case of power operated knapsack sprayers, the power is obtained by engine, and the carrying mechanism is knapsack, and it is a continuous sprayer, and the volume is low, and pressurized mechanism is by gravity. This one is the knapsack sprayer, and it consists of several parts. This one is the handle where we manually operate, or where we give the force. And this one is the plunker rod. It facilitates the movement of piston. The force coming from the handle is transmitted through plunker rod and finally to the piston. And this one is the chemical tank. This one is the solder strap. This one used to carry the sprayer. And this one is hose. And hose is connected to lens. The lens is ended up with nozzle, and here we can have a trigger cutoff valve which used to facilitate or control the flow rate of spray. And this one is the inner part. The handle is directly attached with the plunker rod and connected to the piston chamber. And the other chamber adjacent to piston chamber is the pressure chamber, where the hose is connected, and finally with the trigger valves, lanes, and nozzles. And these are the strainers, and this one is the lid. And in case of the continuous sprayers, the pressure chamber is not available. So the spraying can be done continuously without any disturbance. And the flow rate can be controlled. Here also the trigger valves are available. The flow rate can be controlled by trigger valves. And in case of continuous semi-automatic sprayers, these are normal knapsack sprayers utilized by the farmers. This one is consist with the pressure chamber, and here the flow can be controlled by using the trigger valve as well as by the power produced by farmers. And the other one is compression type. This one, the full tank. In case of continuous semi-automatic, the pressure chamber is a smaller one inside the chemical tank. But in case of compression sprayer, the full chemical tank is act as the pressure chambers. And in case of power sprayers, power sprayer utilize normally two-stroke engines. It is driven by the two-stroke engine. Can you understand? Please take a note on this. Draw the picture as well. Okay, draw this also. It have two chambers. One is pressure chamber and the other one is piston chamber. These are lid. This one strainer. Strainer normally used to filter the chemicals or liquid poured into the chemical tank from any dust particles or this one is what type of knapsack sprayer? Can anybody tell me? Continuous type or continuous semi-automatic or compression type?
Continuous type.
Okay, continuous semi-automatic. Okay, these are the parts and function of each parts in knapsack sprayers. The first one is handle. This one normally used to draw the liquid into the pressure pump. This one we are giving our force to handle. So this one is the first initiation of drawing the liquid in chemical tank into the pressure chamber, and also utilized to provide the required working pressure. And plunger rod, this one is transmitting the power from the handle to the piston. And the other one is chemical tank. This one used to store the chemicals, which is going to be sprayed. And the other part is shoulder strap. This one used to carry the sprayer. And the other one is hose. It used to carry the pressurized fluid to the spray lance. The lance is the metallic rod here, which is connected to the hose. The hose is connected to the pressure chamber. And nozzle. What's the function of nozzle? Nozzle. Nozzle is used to break or atomize the liquid into small droplets. We already have studied the type of nozzles and why it's useful. The main function of nozzle is to break down the liquid into small droplets. Okay, the other one is the strainer. This one used to remove the dust or dirt and other foreign materials of the liquid. The other one is pressure chamber. This one provide a required pressure, working pressure. And the other one is piston chamber. This one is consist with piston, which can move up and down to facilitate in generating the pressure. Take a note on this. And you have to know each and every parts and their function because it's important in your spot examination. we will have only 1 hour class, and in next class we can do the spray testing and evaluation of sprayers and calculation regarding the sprayers. And there are several steps need to be followed while using a sprayer. Before filling the chemicals, we want to check whether the shoulder straps are correctly fitted. Because after carrying, sometimes there might be chances for falling down of chemical tank if those shoulder straps are not fitted well. And then you can have a large metallic lid. This one need to be open, and the strainer should not be removed out from the chemical tank, and the chemical need to be poured to a desired quantity, and then the lid need to be closed, and the pump handle need to be operated 10 to 8 times. And while adjusting the trigger handle valve, we can change the flow rate and finally have the desired flow rate. Okay, now let's see about the working mechanism of knapsack sprayer. It consists of two strokes. The one is the upward movement and the other one is the downward movement. While having the upward movement or operating the lever in upstroke, the piston is moved up. So the volume of piston chamber is getting increased. So while the volume is increasing, the pressure is decreased. So the inlet valves present at the bottom of the piston chamber open so that the chemicals or the liquid from the chemical tank is getting or flowing inside of the piston chamber. And in downstroke, the downward stroke, we are pulling the handle in downward side or the bottom side. So the piston chamber volume is getting reduced. So the pressure is getting increased, and finally the inlet valves are closed. And here the outlet valves in the pressure chamber is open. So the pressurized fluid in piston chamber is flowing inside the pressure chamber. And by adjusting the trigger valves, we can have the flow rate. While opening the trigger valves, we can have the flow from the hose and lands, and finally from the nozzle, the liquid or the pressurized liquid is flowing out. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Take a note on this and draw the picture as well. The main parts are the lever, the piston chamber, and the pressure chamber. The piston chamber is consist with the inlet valves. Sorry. And the other pressure chamber is consist with the outer valves. And by the pressure difference, these valves are open and facilitates the flow of liquid from the chemical tank. And finally to pressure chamber, and the pressurized liquid are moved by hose and finally to the lands and emitted out from the nozzles. Yeah. Okay. Normally, working principle is consist of two stroke. The first one is the upward stroke, and the second one is the downward stroke. The figure displayed on left side is the upward stroke. While pulling the handle upward, the piston also connected to the handle now by using the plunker rod. It is connected with piston. So the piston is moving upward. So the volume of piston chamber is increasing. So while increasing the volume, the pressure is decreased. So by that pressure difference, the inlet valves are open. So the chemicals in the chemical tank, that means the larger tank, is flowing inside the piston chamber. And in downward stroke, or while pulling the lever or handle downward, the volume of the piston chamber is getting reduced and the pressure is increasing, so that the inlet valves are closed and the outlet valves opened by the pressurized liquid, because the liquid in the piston chamber will be with high pressure. So the outlet valves open, so the liquids in the piston chamber are flowing into the pressure chamber. The pressure chamber is connected with hose, lance, and finally with nozzle. And in lance, we are having the trigger valves where we can adjust the flow rate of the liquid flowing out. Okay, now. Write these things in your own language so you can understand it well. Have you finished it? Have you finished it? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you have any doubt, you can ask me. We will wind up the class now. The power spray and the spray calibration things we will study in next class. Yeah? No. This one will be held on Tuesday. So practical session. Tomorrow you're having class, Prabhas's one. Hello? Tomorrow whose class? Prabha sir? Okay. Shall we wind up the class then?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.